Good day, my name is Scott Kinney with Discovery Education, and this is our One Idea series. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Rob Furman. Rob is the principal at South Park Elementary School in South Park, Pennsylvania, author of Instructional Technology Tools, a professional development plan. Keeps busy, also a blogger for the Huffington Post, one of NSBA's 20 to Watch. So welcome this morning, Rob. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm very excited. I've always been a true fan of all the Discovery Education, Discovery Channel, so it's an honor.
Oh, thanks. Your most recent book, coming out of ISTE this year, Technology, Reading, and Digital Literacy, Strategies to Engage the Reluctant Leader. I consider myself a little bit of a technology nerd, and at the same time, I remember back to my middle school years where I think I would fall into the camp of a reluctant reader as well. So how do you merge these two? How does technology play into engaging students today around literacy and reading?
Yeah, there's a lot to that. A lot of it boils down to sort of riding the horse in the direction it's heading. You know, kids and students, they're already based in this world of technology. When you're dealing with reluctancy, it's probably something that has to do with prioritizing. As a student, think about one reason why you may not want to read something. Let's take, for example, gender issues. Like maybe you're a boy and there's a more feminine type of book you want to read. Something as simple as reading it in a tablet all of a sudden makes it anonymous, so you can read whatever it is you want without feeling the pressures of society kind of pulling down on you. Probably one of our biggest problems is that kids don't know what's out there to read. They don't have the video. They have the video game commercials, the TV commercials, fast food commercials, movie commercials. There's not a whole lot of book commercials out there. Let's be honest. So they don't even know what's out there, and that's one of the biggest pet peeves that I have when I hear about reluctant readers is that there's not an adult out there that's given them the opportunity to say, "Here's a good book. Check it out." No adult may have even done that yet.
Right.
And then the hypocrisy of the whole thing a lot of times is if you think about it as adults, we talk about the power of modeling, but yet most parents, when I talk to them, and teachers, they read before their kids wake up. They read after the kids go to bed. I get it. It makes sense. A lot of guys like to read in the restroom, where they get some privacy. So it's conceivable that a child from waking up to falling asleep may never have seen an adult read an independent book for pleasure, but yet we preach it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that we have to model good behavior. We have to help them find these books, and we have to use the technology that's out there because that's their world. For example, Book Wizard by Scholastic. It's a great search engine for children's books, and that's what we need to be using, because it's sort of the Pandora music of children's literature. It helps these kids find what's out there. Another example would be like ePals, for example, which is like an electronic pen pal company. Amazing company. Help you get hooked up with other classrooms around the world. And after you read that good book, what do you do with it then? And I don't think too many kids want to take a comprehension test after reading the book. They want to do something entertaining with it. So, get hooked up with maybe a classroom in England and have everybody read a book on the American Revolution and see how those two sides differ. Interesting things like that are what's going to capture these kids. And we have to use the technology that's out there because that's their expectation.
Yeah, and I think your last example is an interesting one because you're not just talking about the access to the materials or engaging students with technology because that's what they're used to, but also some of those tools around how do you actually enhance that experience given the tools and the resources we have today. So ePals was one. Are there other kind of strategies that you think
Tons.
about?
Tons. I think that there's a lot of simple ones that are out there too. Let's go back to the tablet concept again, because that's a big thing for these kids, because it gives them two major parts that kids need in order to find a book. Choice, because there's so many built-in libraries in there, and they get the option to choose, and access. They need to have the books at their hand.
Right.
The world of instant gratification, these kids may not just go to a library and get a book, but if they got it right there, hit a button, there's the book, makes things easier for them. In terms of doing things with books, the idea of a book talk. very much like what you and I are doing right now, the whole idea of video conferencing. These kids could be videotaping their book talks, using them for morning announcements, using them as project-based learning experiences. Because again, part of the problem we run into is the kids just don't know what literature is out there. And if you've got your own colleagues reading about these things and saying, "Yeah, this is a good book," you're going to run into a better opportunity. Probably one of the biggest things that I love is what we're doing right now. Again, Skyping. There's actually a website out there called Skype and Author Network, where if you could get your class to read a couple of these books, obviously purchase the books, read them. Some authors will come in for free via Skype and do these 20, 30-minute conversations with kids. It makes those reluctant readers more interested in the experience, because now they can ask the mind that created what they read all of these cool things. What made you decide on this character? Why this setting? Why this idea? I mean, it gives them that option to be curious, which is certainly something that's very important.
So, Rob, as a building principal, how do you instill this throughout your organization? I mean, is it an upfront strategy where you have a plan around how you work with teachers and instilling some of these strategies? So talk a little bit about how you lead this initiative at your level.
Yeah, well, I think we're really fortunate in the building here that we've created a really nice reading culture here in my building. It started off with novel doors. Donald Miller has a wonderful book out called The Book Whisperer. I took some of her ideas out of there. We started with these novel doors where the adults, the teachers over the summer put the covers of the books we've read on our doors, and it really started to spike conversations.
Oh, that's great.
And then at that point, we had the kids doing it, and then they started kind of having these conversations. We started creating book talks, putting them on the morning announcements, having them in our lunch times, because we had a little stage in our cafeteria, so the kids would come up and do little book talks. We started doing challenges. If kids would read so much in so much of amount of time, I would do something crazy. The teachers would do something crazy. We've had barbecue wing contests, hot wing contests. We've had throw the dunk tank contest, lip syncing contest. So we do a lot of crazy fun things around the whole idea of reading.
That's fantastic.
And we don't make it something we make it something that every kid can be successful. If you read for 5 or 10 minutes and fill out that slip, you're a part of the success of what we've done. So every kid wants to be a part of that experience by either winning the option or at least getting enough numbers in there so that they feel like they're part of that grand win.
That's great. So, Dr. Furman, 2 things. One, if I want to find out more about your book, how do I do that?
You could go to www.robfurman.com. You could go to the ISTE bookstore. It's also on Amazon, I believe.
Fantastic.
Both of my books, I think, are on Amazon as well. So that would probably be the most logical location to look for that.
Excellent. And then lastly, you mentioned that you just launched a new YouTube channel, Revolution. Could you give us 30 seconds on that? That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. We've already had 4 or 5 episodes up. A colleague of mine, Keith Reeves from Virginia Society of Technology Education, and he's also a tech director down there. We created this YouTube channel that's talking about hot topics in education. It's sort of like digging into those taboo conversations when it comes to education and a little bit of politics and things like that. And it's a nice opportunity for us to sort of try to hopefully make a difference on a more national, grander scale. And if there's anybody out there that wants to join us in that conversation, by all means, send some comments. You could even end up being a person that we could bring on and have conversations about things like that. The next one we're going to be airing is talking about what do we want to keep and what should we get rid of in education in terms of content, like do we still need spelling? Do we still need handwriting, printing, typing even? So we hit some of those hot topics, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds like
education on YouTube.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So Revolution. One Idea Series, Dr. Rob Furman, Principal, South Park Elementary School in South Park, Pennsylvania. Rob, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.